Well, good afternoon. We normally do not speak to personnel issues. However, since this item of interest is in the public venue, we believe we need to inform the public about the situation we rectified in 2021. I'm going to start off with what our mission statement is. It's in partnership with the citizens of Sedgwick County. We will provide effective public service to all, holding everyone accountable in an impartial, ethical, and professional manner. As you know, through several articles with Wichita Eagle, there has been former employees here that created very distasteful memes or shared those memes along with texts. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through what already has been discussed publicly with a little bit more detail on what occurred. We received information from the Wichita Police Department in May of 2021 that there was some highly racially insensitive memes, texts, homophobic memes, and women degrading memes that was shared by 3 of our employees. Once that information and memes was brought into to us for us to view, we immediately called for an executive staff meeting with the colonels, myself, and our attorney, where we viewed this particular material and immediately started the process of making notification to these 3 employees that we were going to suspend them. One particular employee was already on suspension for a DV related or domestic violence related arrest, so he was served with notice of this investigation, which is by our policy that they have to be notified and we have to investigate these things before we can take any type of corrective action. 2 former employees were immediately brought in on the same day. They were also suspended. All 3 never worked another day in law enforcement for the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office from that particular day. On the same day that we found this information, we went over to the District Attorney's Office, Mark Bennett, to show him this information due to the fact that we have laws that we have to abide by called Brady-Giglio. Brady is the state side, Giglio is the federal side. What, in a short paraphrase of what that means is if you have racial issues in your background, if you have deceitfulness or have lied in your background or convicted of a crime of deceitfulness as a law enforcement officer, we have to turn that information over to the DA's office for possible impeachment material in any type of case or trial. Due to the fact that we have always followed those rules and those laws is why we took that immediately to the District Attorney's Office so that they could look to see if these 3 individuals were involved in any cases, and at that point the DA's office would have to start informing defense attorneys. Again, we gave all 3 individuals an internal notification on the same day that we received the information. The one former employee who was already on suspension for domestic violence immediately resigned the next day. We also took the information over to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the exact same reason as I have stated before. The federal side of looking at this material to see if it's impeachment material is called Giglio. So we needed to understand if they would be Giglio considered by the U.S. Attorney's Office and the DA's office, both of which said yes, absolutely they would be because of the nature of the memes and the texts. We continued the internal investigation into the 2 former employees that were still here under suspension, both of which retired before the complete conclusion of the investigation. And that conclusion of the investigation was that they had violated policies that were termination offenses. So both chose to take retirement instead of being terminated, which we have nothing that we can stand in the way of that. Paperwork was filled out per state statute notifying the Kansas Commission of Peace Officer Standards and Training, which is CPOST, who regulates law enforcement's licenses. That all 3 former employees either resigned or retired under investigation. This paperwork was delivered to CPOST for their investigation into licensing. So that's what has transpired. The reason I'm talking about that now is because it is in the public venue in these articles. We also have to understand that some folks might not like the fact that we did not put this out originally when we rectified this issue back in September of 2021. However, we also are bound by employment law and did not feel that we could provide specific information into what occurred. Second step, how we start working with the community again. I had a phone call with the Greater Ministerial League, which represents ministers from all faiths and all different parts of races and populations within the city of Wichita. Of course, they are not happy with the information that is being reported, which I will have to tell you is true and accurate information. However, the way that we handled it, they understand and appreciate the fact that we handled the situation as we did. But I'm going to be meeting with them and some of their congregations to talk about this situation and how we can rectify this going into the future. A member of the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office Advisory Board Committee, which is an advisory board that's put together by the Sheriff's Office of citizens that live in this community, has asked me to come to a community meeting to listen and discuss this issue, which we will plan on doing. Actions that we took after this was brought to our attention and any future considerations included we gave additional training on the subject of de-escalation techniques and duty to intervene to Sheriff's Office personnel, all Sheriff's Office personnel in 2021. We conducted a training with the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office supervisors on deliberate indifference and failure to supervise. We attempted to conduct a cultural awareness training in 2021, but due to COVID, the instructor had to cancel. Due to the decrease in COVID, we are in the process of bringing an instructor on cultural awareness to the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office mandatory training sessions in 2022. In closing, we have worked with the community for a long time within the Sheriff's Office, and I hope people can trust the fact that we handled the situation at hand. We're aware of the community distrust that can happen out of this, but please understand that we understand those situations, but we handled what was presented in front of us immediately and correctly. We have great employees that go above and beyond every day in providing law enforcement services in an impartial, ethical, and professional manner. We will continue to maintain the same ethical standards as we have in the past years. Unfortunately, we had individuals that did not uphold our mission or conduct themselves according to our core values. These individuals are no longer employed. We will continue to work hard with citizens to overcome this disappointing incident. Thank you for your attention today.